In the 1930s, wealthy commodities traders were working hard to put the squeeze on local farmers by driving down the price of their meat and produce, making it nearly impossible for these poor farmers to make a living. Well, farmers all over the Midwest, they got together and they decided amongst themselves that they'd just go ahead and withhold their products from the marketplace and instead hold large protests outside big cities. Well, at one of these protests, a chant rose up amongst the farmers where they said, "We'll eat our wheat, ham, and eggs. Let them eat their gold." You know, there's something a whole lot more valuable than gold, especially when you're hungry. This was the problem King Midas had when he desired for himself the power to turn whatever he touched into gold. Well, that was great, as long as what he was touching was a stone and turning it into a gold nugget, or turning a clay brick into a golden brick. But when he got hungry and reached out for the apple and turned the apple to gold, he realized that his great desire for gold was going to lead to his starvation. You know, I think this is very true in our day as well. We have this great appetite and desire for information, and it's everywhere. But there's something far more valuable than information when what we hunger for and need is understanding and wisdom. There's just information absolutely everywhere. It's piled up all over us, and we have access to it like we've never had access to it before. But as information has increased, there's become a huge poverty in our world of wisdom. You know, we kind of feel like that sailor who's at sea, who's parched and hasn't had anything to drink, and he looks around, and he sees there's water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. We're practically drowning in information. There's data everywhere, but not a thought to think. We don't know what we're doing. We're in crisis. We have all kinds of problems that we can't seem to find solutions for. We have relationships that are broken, that are in desperate need of repair. We've got big decisions to make on matters of politics and child rearing and sex and finance and science and on and on and on and on. And while we just we're awash in information, where's the wisdom? We can't seem to find it. And I think what we all come to know and to understand is that there are things you can't Google. There are things you can't have an app for. These are things that are in God's possession that you can't steal or take from him. None of us are Prometheus, able to get into heaven and pull down the treasures of heaven for us and other people. Instead, we're going to have to go and appeal to God for it. We're going to have to go ask him for it. Now, here's the good news. If we want wisdom, if we want understanding, he's anxious to give it to us. There's an abundance of it, and it's in full supply if we just humble ourselves and ask for it. He wants to contribute to you in these most important things in your life, the things that are vexing you and keeping you up at night, giving you ulcers and stressing you out. He wants to speak into every single aspect of your life, but you have to go and ask him for it. Listen to what God says through Solomon in the book of Proverbs, Proverbs chapter 8, beginning at verse 10. He says, "Take my instruction instead of silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with her." And that's fantastic. You know, I think there's a time and a place for gold and silver, of course, and it's a big part of all of our lives. But there's also a time and a place for wisdom and understanding. And that time and place is right now, right here in America. We need wisdom and understanding in a terrible way. And so I encourage all of you today to make an appointment with the Lord. Get up early, sit in your living room, clear out your closet, crawl in there, take a drive, take a walk in the woods, get alone with the Lord. Humble yourself before him and ask for his wisdom. It's priceless and powerful and useful. So during this time when we're apart and we don't have any counsel but the Lord's, that's nothing to be upset about. That's something to rejoice in. So ask him for it, receive it today, and be strengthened by it. We love you so much. We're praying for you and asking the Lord's continued blessing in all of our lives as we continue to seek him during this time. God bless you and have a great night.